It's time for the Steve and Kyle podcast with Kyle.
I need a real layman's perspective. What's this place? That's you, by the way. What's this place? It's Bobcat Goldthwait.
Right,
Steve.
Of course, Bobcat voice. It's the go-to.
So Bobcat Goldthwait Steve walks into Disney, and you're stomping like a real idiot. Where's the Goof Man? Because you don't know he's called Goofy because you're dumb.
The Goof Man. Got it.
And Steve.
We were in Niceville, Florida, which was...
Feels like it's out of a 1960s movie.
I know. It's like Pleasantville.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Was everything in black and white until you decided to, like, have sex in the car and everything turned color?
Everyone in the car was family members.
Well, I mean, it could be with yourself. I mean, I'm not discriminating. It's on the poll.
Why do I have to answer this as if it's...
No.
Live on tape from APS 3 point whatever, it's the Steve and Kyle podcast.
That piano, man. Oof. Speaking of Piano Man,
Yes.
you hear the new one from Billy Joel?
But I saw he released new music, and
Yeah.
I guess I had no idea that it was the first new music for him in, 40 years?
No, I think it was... I think it's 25 or 30, but I don't know if it's going to be a full album or it's just a single. It was pretty good, though.
Notoriously, Billy Joel had been a touring artist who had decided long ago, and to his credit, he's 100% correct, that people only want to see his hits.
Yeah, sure.
They're not coming out paying the going rate at Madison Square Garden
Yeah,
to hear him play the new jingle that he just came up with.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that. And honestly, I wish more artists would take note of that.
Yeah, good for him. He never has to say the dreaded, we're going to play a couple off the new album.
There's nothing that makes me run to the bathroom quicker
I know.
than that idea. No, I have not heard it. I had heard kind of middling reviews, but I mean, Billy...
I thought it sounded good. It sounded like a Billy Joel song.
Could you hear the age in his voice? Because obviously when you hear him live, you're going to hear the age in Billy Joel.
Surprisingly, no. He sounded really good.
I think when I had heard this, I was talking to Katie how kind of depressing it is for me to see artists. For some reason, one of a musician on loop at my house when I was younger was Genesis. Mm-hmm. And to see now Phil Collins.
Oh, yeah.
Age, and
He's
when
in
you
rough
think
shape.
when you think Phil Collins, you're not thinking Mick Jagger. Like
Right.
he wasn't doing the hard stuff in the bathroom before the show.
I mean, maybe he was. I don't know.
But it's a bummer that Mick Jagger and all those guys are still out there, doing their hip thrusts and everything else in their 80s.
Yeah.
And poor Phil can't play the drums.
Right.
And performs in a chair.
Yeah, that's really sad. But I mean, the guy's he's got to be in his mid to late 70s, right?
What I'm saying is that should have happened to Mick Jagger. And I don't know why I'm mad at Mick Jagger today.
Yeah, I don't know what
I'm notoriously not a Rolling Stones guy.
Notoriously not a Rolling Stone.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Gravestone.
So people know this about you then.
Yeah, Gravestone or Headstone, it's going to be, Hated Hope Solo. Father, husband, son, etc. And literally we're going to put the etc. Because there's always...
Yeah.
Nobody cares that I was a nephew or
everyone
a cousin.
Was.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you had siblings.
Wow.
Neat.
You did nothing to achieve that.
You were born and had family existing. Cool. And then right below that, notoriously anti-Rolling Stones.
Okay, so not are you only not a fan, but you're anti? That's all right.
I don't know. I'd like to really contemplate before I jump in on a take.
Okay, so...
Like I have, obviously, before saying I was notoriously anti-Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Everybody who knows me.
Okay, so hypothetical situation for you. Mm-hmm. You're a huge wrestling fan. Mm-hmm. Next June, the big WrestleFest is coming to the local arena.
Sure.
They got a curved ramp and everything.
Can't believe it.
It goes 60, 70, maybe 80 feet.
You need to stop. I'm going to have to loosen the pants.
And then a little hook at the end.
Whew. Can you imagine that shape? My goodness.
Before the show,
the
Stones are performing.
Okay. Like the warm-up for the big act.
Right. Yeah,
right?
Of course.
the Stones are going to be there and they're all their glory, right?
Now, you've already bought tickets for the show before the pre-show Rolling Stones concert has been announced.
So I'm financially invested.
You are already invested. You getting rid of those tickets now that you heard that the Stones are there?
Taking out the idea of, I could profit, whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm showing up late. Which I've honestly done before. It was on a show that I talked about on this very podcast that I went to, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And it was the Kesha show in town.
Oh, yeah.
And now at that time, Kesha was touring. The main tour was Kesha and Macklemore. So they'd each do their full set. They'd kind of split who'd go on first and last. Great. But also
probably do a couple of
I'm sure they would have
a couple together.
Yes. And I knew that it wasn't going to be that because I knew Macklemore was not here. So I'm guessing on their off dates, like, hey, Johnny Macklemore has to go do whatever, right? Yeah. But Kesha still wants to do some shows while she's on the road. Why not? So I knew it was only her. And they didn't even announce an opening act until like late, which
bad sign.
It's fine. I'm not there for the opening act. If I stumble into something that I enjoy, great.
Yeah.
That's happened a few times where I've been at a show and the opening act I really enjoyed and I've downloaded, back in the day, like illegally ripped their music.
Went to LimeWire.
Yeah.
Burned a CD.
And added to my iPod Touch and would jam to in the car. And that way I'd feel like a music guy, right? Because everybody knows music guys. We don't need to get into them.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, you heard the newest by, Johnny Bluefish and the Stars? What? Oh yeah, he was just touring at the Purple House in, Minnesota, Wisconsin. He's going to make it big.
At the Purple House?
The Purple House.
Wow.
Kitty corner to the Yellow Room. Yeah, that's right. The underground music scene in Minnesota, Wisconsin.
Right. It's all just color and various different names for room or house or building.
And for dinner, you're going to the Brown Bar.
That's quite a main street right there.
That's it. That is all in one night. Boom, boom, boom. So they announced it as some DJ. This opening act of the Kesha show. Like a DJ. I'm sorry. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, if it's not DJ Pauly D, I probably don't know who it is.
I know people, and I've listened to their music. I'm embarrassed that I forget their names now, but they're very famous DJs right now, and I don't know how they tour. Like, are you just going to watch two guys behind their pianos and their machines and just bobbing their heads?
I think so, yeah.
Is that it? Like, is that... Out of touch Kyle cannot associate with that. That sounds awful to me.
Maybe put that on the poll this week. How did DJs work?
Yeah, not a bad... Yes, no. But anyway, they announced a DJ, so I decided I don't need to be there. Katie and I went, got a drink beforehand, kind of watching the clock. It's like, I don't think she's going to be on before 9. Like, it's Kesha. She's like 22-year-old party girl, right?
Yeah.
I got a text from another former coworker who was there. 8 p.m. like prompt. Like, hey, it's in place. I think she's coming out in like 3 minutes.
So you're still down the street at the bar?
So we're like just chugging the last of this beer. And we run down the road. We have floor seats, no big deal. And we run to the arena for her to be like just on stage.
Yeah.
For, again, we talked about it in the podcast years ago, for her 65-minute show.
Oof.
Which is, to this date, one of the... I love the music. One of the worst shows I've been to, right next to the Lumineers.
Why was it the worst? Was it the worst just based on the length of the show?
Yeah, not enough songs. Like, so 11 songs.
The show itself was good.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, and honestly, it was, like I said, I think it was 11 or 12 songs. Again, not enough.
No.
I understand she probably just exported the set list from her Split concert with Macklemore.
Yeah.
But that was it.
But you got to add in.
Yes.
You got to add in 4 or 5 songs.
It's a 10,000-seat arena. I mean, you have to make it a full set.
You get to an hour and a half. Anything past that, you're lucky. You're good.
And the problem was this was mixed in with 3 elaborate costume changes, too. So, to answer your question, in lieu of possibly selling WrestleFest tickets being opened by the Rolling Stones.
With the curved ramp.
You know what, though? I'm getting older and I'm becoming more event-driven. I'm talking about this. Like, even things that, like, I'm not an uber fan of whatever, but I like seeing the events. Being able to say I went to these things.
Yeah.
I think I'd go. Because I'd be able to say, hey, I saw the Rolling Stones.
So are you backtracking now?
Yeah.
You're notoriously not
I'm notoriously... No. Still notoriously anti-Rolling. Maybe, I think... So here's the deal. Here's my compromise. I'll go, but I'm going to sit in my seat with my arms folded.
Okay, so silent protest.
Yeah. So Mick, Keith... Does anybody know the other names of the other members?
Yeah, John, Paul, George.
And Ringo. And be able to say, I heard the Rolling Stones, and I am all set. So I can name one...
So you won't even say, I went to see the Rolling Stones. You will just say, I was in an area where I heard their music playing.
Either that or I'll kind of rephrase it as, I was forced to hear them while waiting for the oiled up grown men to throw each other around a cage.
Yeah. Before walking down the hockey stick shaped ramp.
That's right.
Okay. Well, I mean, I wasn't expecting it to go this way off the bat, but
anyway, Billy Joel out, new music. Now, is your family notoriously big Billy Joel? Because you're from the area where it's like, hey, we've been to Billy Joel 34 times, and we're going to go see it. We saw him at the Purple Room.
The Blue Den.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We were in the Blue Den next door to Minnesquaka. And
no, we would... my earliest memories are the family trips down to visit my grandparents in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Would have been like a 12-hour drive. And we constantly listened to Billy Joel and Elton John the whole ride down there. But it was the Billy Joel Innocent Man album. Okay. Which was like when he did a doo-wop album in the 80s. God. So, I mean...
Guessing it wasn't well received?
It did pretty well, I think. But I mean, I know every word to every song on the Innocent Man album.
So you know by heart the entire worst album in the Billy Joel catalog.
Pretty much, yeah. That's one of my one of the fun facts about me. I
think maybe I'd like to do that next week. Maybe you and I can put together our top 3, maybe most overrated, or just based on what we think and based on our life history, musicians or bands. Because I already know 2 of my top 3 that have been mentioned on this podcast. One, spoiler, less than 2 minutes ago.
Could have been anything.
But I'd like to get that out of you because
like overrated. So not necessarily specific albums, but we can just kind of make it overrated music acts.
Yes.
Okay, in our opinion.
In our history, no, I don't want people. Well, I really like them, but history doesn't look fondly on Milli Vanilli. Like I don't care if you like Milli Vanilli. I'm too old to care what music you enjoy.
Very few parameters for this.
Yeah,
we can basically. Yeah, it can be a specific album. It can be a band. It could be a whole genre of music if you want.
Yeah, either that or I'd like to hear also, because I know 2 of the top for me of the worst concerts I've ever been to. And they both, again, been talked about on this very podcast.
Okay. All right, so next week. Is that the A-Bet next week?
I mean, I feel bad labeling it that way, because boy, it's not. I wanted to address something that maybe people are noticing right now. You sound a little bit like you're fighting something.
Yeah, a little.
Vocally.
Yep.
Now you're a teaman.
I am a teaman, yes.
Did you have some honey tea, some throat coat this morning?
I haven't had any this morning. I had some coffee this morning.
Are you feeling it, though? Like, when you wake up and you start talking, do you feel that in your throat?
Yeah, it's just it's the typical, like, all centered right around the nose.
Yeah.
Everything else on my body, perfectly fine.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, just a little extra mucus in there.
Yeah, maybe coming up after the break, I'd like to get if there was anything that stands out to you about your experience last night. And did that lead to what's going on this morning? I just have a lot of questions about.
My experience from last.
Well, you were out in the town,
yeah,
and you are a man in his late 20s, early 30s,
42,
who does not get out on the town much.
No, this was like a 24-hour out on the town.
Yeah, not a hop, skip, jump on the town. This was a full-fledged, trim the beard, comb the hair.
I did trim the beard.
Get dressed.
You noticed that?
I did. So this was a full get-up affair, and I want to get the rundown on how that went for you after the break.
Okay.
But we teased something last week that I can't push off any further because this is big news in Kyle's life.
I have been excited about this for probably 2 weeks now since you sent me a little bit of a teaser via text about something that you had set. Oh, no. I had set for you as one of your New Year's resolutions.
Correct.
For 2024. We both made resolutions for each other.
Yes.
And for this podcast. And I had assigned you the task of making one friend in 2024. Now, there were some parameters. It was
basic, though.
I believe you had to have contact information. You had to schedule at least one time where you were going to, hey, let's take the kids to the park for a play date type thing.
Yeah, and I believe the only rules, like you said, were hang out one time outside of just text communication or email or whatever, right?
There had to be some interaction outside of, if it's somebody, say you met them when you were dropping Reed off at school, or like a guy that you always talk to and like, hey, go green. You see the game? It's got to be more than that.
And that has been sitting with me, right?
Like a burden?
No, not a burden, but
have you been worried?
Not worried, because it's barely February now, right? And I know it's in my head.
Yeah.
Not like I'm seeking it out. I'm not like, like we joked about last week, my buddy Chris at the wedding, like, hey, let's go talk to this Russian fella, right?
Right. Now, keep in mind, though, you have an extra day to do it this year. We got a leap year, so you got 366. So you're down to about roughly 330 something.
Yeah, about 330 days left to make. But if you realistically think about it, that time to make a friend and then do something outside of saying hello, much less than that, right? Because you're not going to say, hey, John, nice to meet you. I'm Kyle. Have my phone number. See you tomorrow.
Sure.
So it's not like I have until day 325.
Right. You have to. There's that initial courting, the courtship, where
the way all friendships work.
Yeah, where you you dance around and you be like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little flirty.
You just have to find. It's usually at this age, what I would assume, because I haven't made one in a decade, is like one tiny common thread.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's, for you, someone, DiVincenzo Pavarotti comes by and wants deets on the garage.
By the way, I gotta send him a text. I know he had surgery the other day. I want to see how he's doing.
Hope it wasn't serious.
Yeah. No, it was
I don't care.
Fairly.
I don't care.
Okay. Fairly minor, but I'll make sure that he knows you don't care.
Pass along that your podcast partner does not care about minor. I'd be willing to go so far as to say, or major surgery for Mike DiVincenzo Pavarotti, the MDP.
I'm sure that'll be met with what's a podcast?
So that had been sitting with me because I am genuinely, I think this is a fantastic New Year's resolution that you set. I think it's just enough outside the box, one, for me, and two, it could lead for just great content, right? So it was a couple of weeks ago now, and again, this is still sitting with me, that Katie and I had to go do, I forget what we were doing. It was a Saturday evening. We had to go away for a few hours. And so we left Reed with my mom and dad. And we were on our way back from whatever venture we were on. And I texted my mom to say, hey, we're about to head out. We'll be there soon. And she said, oh, we haven't even eaten yet. And let's,
no
the way
rush.
Grandmas do it, right? Never on a schedule, which is fine.
No, do whatever they want. Oh, yeah, we just gave them their third bowl of ice cream for a snack 1 second before they are supposed to eat dinner.
Hey, it's 8:30 a.m. Is cocaine okay?
No Coke until afternoon, Mom.
Oops, sorry, he already had it. So
whatever. That's a battle you're never gonna win.
Nope, don't even fight it. If you're trying to fight it out there, stop. It's a waste of your time. So she says, why don't you go get a drink or something? I said, fine, that's great. We'll stop at a place kind of on the way there anyway. So we stop into a brewery that had been closed around here for the better part of a year, reopened under a new name, new owners, everything. So we stop in, and it's hopping. Apparently people on Saturdays are looking for overpriced beer, and they found it. Okay?
Very nice of your mom, by the way, to recommend to have a few drinks, then drive home.
Yeah. And listen, a few would be generous because at that point I'm ready to get home. It's like that time of night too. Where I'm like, okay, I'm going to go have one 10-ounce beer because the 16 ounces are a little bit out of what I'm comfortable paying. So I'm going to have a 10-ounce beer. I'm getting that kid. We're home. Mm-hmm. I get anxiety around this time of day every day where I'm like, okay, it's got to be, if he doesn't have dinner, he's still got to have his bath. We got to do this. The dog's got to eat dinner. I want to be home. I just want to be home.
Yep.
So in my head, I'm going to chug a 10-ouncer and
very enjoyable.
Floor it to go pick him up.
Good combination. Yeah.
But we walk in, it's busy. And to the point where I don't know, I say, hey, but, maybe we can go post up at a, one of those longer tables that's kind of meant for community table. But while I'm ordering, Katie says, hey, these 2 seats at the bar just opened. So we sat there and we each order a drink and she goes to the restroom. 2 seats open up to the left of us and a younger couple comes in and has a seat next to us.
Okay.
Now I don't want to act like I'm an old pro. I'd been to this brewery once before since they opened, and I had a taste of one of the beers. Mm-hmm. Like I had a beer, but like I sampled one that I wanted to try.
Yep.
So this younger couple sits down, and they each order a flight of beers, and I hear him ordering. It's in my head, Steve. What you had told me.
You got to say it.
It's what you had. You said, "Hey, make a friend this year," and I said, "Okay." It starts now.
Oh boy!
I picked up the paper menu.
Yeah.
I leaned to my left. Waited for that bit of like, hey, there's someone invading my space acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Right? Said, when I was here last time, you've got to try this bourbon barrel aged whatever.
Okay. All right.
I said,
because you're a bourbonite.
That's
obviously.
Right.
So
there's certain bourbon barrel aged beers that I enjoy. That
you got to spread the gospel.
Yep.
The bourbon gospel.
So I said, I don't know what you're into. I don't know what you ordered for this flight here. What'd you get on that flight? And so he runs down the beers. I said, I think you'd like it. I think you'd like it. You should get a sample. Get yourself a little sample.
You are just diving straight in. You're eavesdropping. You're giving unwanted recommendations.
Yeah. To the point where this guy might be totally turned off by me talking to him. And I don't blame, I would be that way.
In your head, as you're saying these words to this complete stranger, are you saying to yourself, who are you, man?
No, I'm saying this is my new best friend.
Okay.
Like I'm already there.
Okay.
I've jumped from him ordering a flight to we're going to be best buds. Mm-hmm. Okay. And Steve, you'll never believe it. Boy, oh boy, did we get to talking. Boy, oh boy, did we get to talking.
Okay.
We shot the breeze for upwards of, I'd say 30, 40 minutes.
Minutes? I fully expected that to be 30, 40 seconds.
Well past a full-fledged conversation. I know what they both do for work. Him and his now fiance, they got engaged in December. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And
do you think this could be the wedding? Think this could be the wedding we get invited to?
You wait till the end and let's see if we can seek this out.
Okay.
So, I mean, they told me where they lived. Where they bought their first house in town here.
It's a beautiful love story.
How they sold it or renovated it, sold it. They live in another area just outside of our town now. Mm-hmm. Found out we went to the same high school together. They graduated 5 and 7 years after me.
What?
And it turns out the girl was cousins or related to a girl I graduated high school with.
Look at that. It's a small world after all. You guys are basically best friends.
Small enough, and I want to tell you this. This is a moment of vulnerability here that I did not know how to handle.
That's right. It's just us. Just us here.
While conversing about, you went to this high school, I went to this high school. How about that? Mm-hmm. She says, so you graduated with my cousin, Lindsay. Doesn't matter. I mean, it's not like it's private information. And I said, yeah. And there was pretty close to a dead silence. Mm-hmm. Because tell me how you would continue that flow of conversation with this knowledge, Steve. Graduated with this girl, 2005, high school. We were never like friends or anything like that. No.
Knew of each other probably.
Yeah. And I told, I ended up telling her, she was one of the first faces I saw when I moved from a neighboring community to this community in 3rd grade. Mm-hmm. When I walked into the classroom, she was one of the first faces I saw, and sat at their table. That's where I was assigned to see. So I said she was always very, very kind to me, in school, and fantastic. Mm-hmm. Never heard a bad word about this person. But she says that, so you graduated with my cousin Lindsay. What I know about Lindsay is that 3.5 years ago, she had married. At that point, he was the youngest commercial pilot, I think in like United Airlines history or whatever.
Okay.
And on their honeymoon, on his personal plane, they crashed into the mountains and died.
Okay.
So I just met these folks. Tell me how to get out of that. Not just an elephant in the room, the crashed airplane in the room.
Yeah, that's bigger than an elephant.
I'll put it on the poll. Crashed plane bigger than an elephant. God, I hope they don't listen to the podcast.
Boy, terrible honeymoon, by the way.
Can't imagine one worse. I mean, listen, I think I did a fine job of what was dumped on our plate. It's not her fault, right? Because, hey, I found a common thread. Like, I should mention that. You're not thinking about, one, does he know that she passed away? Right? Because which you don't want to converse about, like, oh, man, bummer about the right?
And then have you be like, what? I haven't heard.
Or conversely, me saying, oh, yeah, how is she? You know what I mean? Like, that's a hard spot, and I don't think she obviously didn't intend to put anybody there.
Yeah.
But anyway, the way I weaseled out of that was by saying, like, oh, man, she was, one of the first people I ever saw when I moved there. She was always so sweet to me and was nothing but nice, never heard a bad thing about her. And then it's like, okay, someone ripped the Band-Aid.
Like, do you pick up your drink? Do you raise a drink to...
Oh, God! Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Wish I thought of it.
Here's one to Lindsay.
Yeah. Not to Boeing or Cessna, you jerks. Had a fantastic conversation with these folks.
It's beautiful.
Like, awesome.
Okay, all right.
Figured out she works in the mortgage industry at a company I deal with nearly daily.
You guys are basically coworkers?
And to the point where multiple times
Wait.
She said, oh, small world. Can you believe that?
So she also works in the private sector?
Listen, that's your poll. I refuse to say that out loud to anybody listening. And then when they found out what I did, what? That's not what I meant.
So is she a fellow denier of mortgages?
Yeah, directly though. I am on the outskirts compared to her.
Okay.
She talked about like verbally telling people like, I'm sorry, there's no chance you're going to be able to get a mortgage with us or with anybody at
so
this
she's
point.
In the thick of it.
Yeah. And
she's down in the trenches.
Yes.
I'm
on the outskirts.
You're a stone's throw from the trenches.
Yep. Yeah. If she were like, again, if she was at, the Brown Bar in Minnesota, Wisconsin,
right.
I am like our version of when we went to Van Wert. I'm in Convoy.
Okay.
Visiting the local pub over there.
All right.
But fantastic. I'm loving this.
I like where this is going.
I'm loving this conversation to the point where I've already broken what I want, which is to be at my folks to pick up Reed.
Yeah.
Because in my head, like I talked about, I get that weird sense of anxiety.
Yeah,
like I know he needs a bath. We got to go.
I totally get it. The end of the day anxiety. Can I ask one question?
Yes.
What was Katie's participation level in this?
Chit-chatting up a storm.
Really? Okay.
I mean, it's a bar, so it's never the most comfortable conversation.
Like
but she's leaning a little bit in front of me. The girl, so it's the two guys on the inside, the two girls on the outside, and we're all kind of forming that weird arc, right?
Yep.
Talking to each other. Lovely flow of conversation. Couldn't have been happier.
I'm so proud of you.
So we're already staying a little bit longer than I wanted, but I'm looking at you like, we're enjoying ourselves. It's not like it's midnight. It's 7:30 at this point,
right.
Something like that. It's not like it's super late. So I pay my tab. I got up, left, never got their names.
There he is. Did you even acknowledge that you were leaving?
Yeah. Got up, said, hey, we got to go. Physically patted the man on his shoulder. Said, good to meet you.
Even though you technically hadn't, because you didn't.
And they both said, yeah, maybe we'll see you around here sometime. And now that was the point where it may have come off a touch on the desperate side when they said that.
Yeah.
If I had come back with, let me get, your social media or your number, right? I feel like number's a better option there for this purpose of me making a friend, because social media, you click request, and then for the most part, whoosh.
Yeah.
It could go bye-bye.
So, but they definitely said the
They said that maybe we'll see around here. But the problem with that is I never got their names or any contact information.
Okay. So
I only know that the girl is a cousin of someone I graduated with in 2005.
Who has since kicked the old 5-galloner.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, well, so we're going to put put it out into the universe. Mm-hmm. Kyle's looking to reunite with
wasn't this a Craigslist? Didn't this used to be a Craigslist forum?
Misconnections.
Does that still exist?
Yeah.
Does it still exist?
It does.
Okay.
You want to do it?
Pull it up
Okay.
after the break. We've got to get this posted. Misconnections. You, me, our lovely wives. Beer. I'll never forget it. Well, let's write that right after the break.
Kyle, I'm pretty proud of you. You took a big step in fulfilling one of the New Year's resolutions that was set for you by me back at the beginning of this year. And look, I mean, we're 1 month in. You got all kinds of time.
I now have, because I think I either take what happened as a W and move on and say, let's do that more. Like, I'll act that way. Or I block everything else out and focus the remaining 10 months or 11 months.
11 months, yeah.
I'm finding just this person.
I think that's it. So you have Craigslist missed connections open.
Honestly, cannot believe this still exists.
Okay, give me an idea of some of the stuff that's posted in there.
Okay,
does it get posted in often?
I wouldn't say off. Not in our area of the missed connections forum. There is 4 in the last. I'm guessing it's 30 days.
Oh wow.
But they do have some that they said from nearby areas. So, Lady Next Door is the headline. I'm not reading that one.
No, read it. I want to hear
you
it.
Want me to? Okay, so this is in, I don't even know the state. It's Romeo. Oh, so it looks like Chicago area.
So, Lady Next Door, well, right off the bat, it would seem as though you know where she is.
I already feel like this is already, like this person posting this. Okay, Lady Next Door, suburb outside of Chicago. My hope is you see this, and we can be more than neighbors. You're special to me.
That's it?
Like, if you Google the population of Romeoville... Like, that's a wide net, folks.
And, again, you know where to find her.
There's one from...
I always thought Misconnections was like, oh, I saw you at the grocery store. We locked eyes as we were passing the Dino Nuggets. I wish I had stopped to talk to you.
God.
But if the person literally lives next door to you...
There's one for this morning. This is not a misconnection. This guy is improperly using this form, but I still think it's worth the read.
Okay.
Bloomington, Indiana area, or Illinois. Fishing buddy. Late 40s guy looking for a new fishing buddy. My age or older. My last friend moved away for a new job. This is where it gets weird. He always brought his own equipment and could never catch anything. I seem to catch most of the fish, and that works for me. Guess I'm better at it.
So
this guy seems like just a grade A jerk.
So it starts out innocent enough. Oh, yeah,
yes.
Looking for a buddy.
Also, again, not the use of this
right,
form.
Yeah, incorrect use of the form, but that's all right. We'll give him benefit of the doubt. But in his plea for a new friend, he's making it very clear he's not a very good friend.
Yeah.
Your buddy didn't move away for a new job.
I bet your buddy still lives in the exact same house.
Same place.
And just told you he's gone forever. Hey, I've got the stage 4 cants. I'm out of here. So no need to fish anymore.
Did people traditionally shorten cancer to cants?
Yeah, I'll post it on the poll. I mean, I just feel like they don't have time. You know?
Not a lot of time left.
Cancer. Cants. Yeah, you're saving a syllable every time.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You know?
Adds years to your life. All right, so you have the local West Michigan missed connections on Craigslist pulled up.
Yeah, and there's just a few. But yeah, I think we need to figure out we're going to make a post here.
All right.
And I got to find these people.
Yeah, click on new post and we'll workshop this.
Yeah. What type of post is this about?
To
community. Well,
what are the options?
We'll get through it. Please choose hang on. Okay, I don't want a pet. It's got, you pick like the sub area, I think. Please choose a category. Activity partners. Oh no, misconnections. Sorry,
yeah,
whole separate area.
Yeah, it should be its own thing.
Posting title. Now this is where we're gotta reel them in, right?
Young attractive couple at the bar.
Okay, that
were they
feels
attractive?
Like I want to have sex with this couple. I don't want that out in the ether. But listen, I'm merely a pawn in this podcast game, so here we go. Young, attractive couple at the brewery.
Maybe put in the name of the brewery. You don't have to say it here, but
I mean, it's not like a. Okay, put the old city. Okay, so now we're on the post.
Okay. Hey, you.
Okay, this this is very quickly turning into a personal ad.
What? No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No,
Again,
we're
just a
just
pawn.
trying to find your friends.
Hey, you.
You chatted me up when we were at the brewery a few weeks back.
And you've been on my mind.
Ever since that moment, I've regretted not getting your CI, in parentheses, contact info.
Yeah, boy, I would have put like ASL, but then I would have really aged myself there, right? Okay, again, I feel like we're really leaning into the idea of I apparently want to sleep with this couple. And I want to make it very clear, this guy could murder me with one arm.
Okay.
He was a very built young man who was also, 7 years younger than me based on when he graduated high school. But where are you?
All right. I noticed your build. And yep, I'm about that.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I mean, the odds that they're actually going to find this are, lightning, right?
What do they do?
But just what if they do, and my only shot in the last decade is going to be ruined because they think I want to have sex with both of them?
I don't know.
No, at this point, not even both of them. Just the guy.
Okay. Well, don't worry. We will. Okay.
Oh, God, please don't bring up the dead cousin.
Okay.
I noticed your build, and yep, I'm about that. Want to link up? Chat brew? Maybe those toned muscles? Wait a minute, that's...
I saw the way Yo Trick was looking at me.
Nope, not doing that. Not doing that. Feels appropriation, and I feel it did need to be mentioned. He was a young African American man.
Okay.
I'm already up against it enough here with I noticed your build. Oof.
All right, now we need to positively identify him. Like, is there something specific that you talked about that if he were to read it, he'd be like, "Oh, that was me."
Yeah, the dead cousin would be right up there. Not his cousin, his fiance's cousin. I mean, I found out they just got engaged like a couple weeks prior.
Mm-hmm. Congrats on the engagement.
That's right. Congrats again on the engagement.
Yeah.
Okay. I think this is going to work.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, sure, it might end up with me sleeping with a man.
Oh, how about, in case you're unsure, we talked about your fiance's dead cousin. The end.
That's right, the end, too.
Yes.
Like the end, parentheses, not hers, that happened 3.5 years ago. Of this, oh my God. Ooh, okay. Well, I don't love posting this, but rules are the rules. I have to put dead cousin, can't just put cousin?
Dead cousin. Okay. Again, the end.
The end. Period. Okay.
Oh, in parentheses, not hers. That happened.
Oh, God, do I have to?
All right, I'll let you out of that.
Okay, it's just like, Jesus. Too far. Okay, I put our podcast email.
Oh, good.
But I put one of those, they have the option for...
To disguise it?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Boy. Okay, so in full recap, we're going to post this as young, attractive couple at brewery in the neighborhood. Hey, you chatted me up at the brewery a few weeks back. Ever since that moment, I regretted not getting your CI contact information. I noticed your build, and yep, I'm about that. Want to link up? Chat brew? Congrats again on the engagement. In case you're unsure. We talked about your fiance's dead cousin. The end.
Really seals it right there.
Oh. I've never felt worse about posting anything. I've never felt worse. All right, it's published. Got 45 days to find this guy and hope he doesn't murder me.
Yep, I'm about that.
Yeah, like right off the bat, it turned that I was like super attracted to this guy. Now, was he a good-looking dude? Yes. And like I said, he could also kill me with one arm. He was he looked so strong. Okay. I'm a man nearing 40 with a heart issue, and I'm implying that I want to. Well, anyway, I've got.
Look, I don't know why you're jumping to conclusions.
No, that's true. I've got 11 months to find someone new, not get murdered by this guy. Oh boy, and make it all happen. Yeah, that's gonna be great. Thank you, Steve.
Hey, congratulations! I mean, if you do not seal this deal, it would be one of the biggest upsets ever.
While we wait, follow up on that at appropriate times.
Yeah. Refresh the email.
I wanted to check with you about your goings on last night because it was out of the ordinary for Steve. Like typically, I don't even know what you're doing on the weekends. I just know it's not
anything.
It's not what you did yesterday.
Yeah.
So you made a big event yesterday, a big affair. Don't want to phrase it that way. I know that word makes sense, but in this regard, you didn't trim the beard, comb the hair for the big affair.
No.
Okay.
No.
I'll post that on the poll as well. Can that be misconstrued? But you texted me this morning something that I didn't even know was going on.
Dude, this was a...
You and I scheduled the podcast last week, I feel like, for the next month.
Yeah, and so... I'm still asleep this morning, and Annette, scares me awake.
Yeah. Steve!
Yeah? What? What's going on? Are you recording the podcast today? And I was, in that just woken up kind of stupor. Yeah? What?
What about?
Yes.
What are you talking about?
But even in my head, I was like, I don't know, maybe we recorded 2 last, I just couldn't remember. And I was like, yeah, why? Yeah, I think so. Oh, because it's in our calendar. I was like, okay, well, yeah, it sounds like we are then. This is at 8:30, 9 o'clock. Now, a little backstory. Annette and I had tickets to a comedy show last night.
Yes.
That was originally scheduled for back in the fall, but it got postponed. So last night was the rescheduled date.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So we had Annette's mom was here with the kids. Mm-hmm. And we said, well, since we're doing the comedy show, let's make a whole day out of it.
Make it a big shindig.
So we went and got massages yesterday morning. Left the massage place. By the way, fantastic massage. Amazing.
So you both couples massage?
It wasn't a couple. They couldn't do couples massages.
Okay, so separate rooms. You were just, hey, can you crack that door open? Hey, Annette, is yours good?
Yeah.
Isn't this romantic? I'm thinking about you. See ya.
So she did her thing, I did my thing, and we left there. We went and got a late breakfast, early lunch type thing. And then we had gotten a hotel room downtown.
Oh my God, this has got garage door openers on Amazon written all over it.
We luckily we were able to check into our hotel room a little bit early. Got in there, got changed, got cleaned up, went out and had a drink somewhere, and then had dinner, and then met up with a coworker of mine at the comedy show.
Okay, the big venue, small venue, one of the a small local one,
1,500 seat venue.
Okay, so decent size.
Yeah.
Okay.
Laughed our asses off.
Okay, that was my next question.
Great show.
Gotcha.
So good. I had been looking forward to this show for 6 months, 8 months probably.
Got it.
So
you were ready.
I was so excited. I was so bummed when it got canceled back in the fall, but I kept my sights on this date. It worked out perfectly that it was rescheduled for a Saturday, so we could go out and have fun. Left the show. We were both like, man, we had a sweet tooth after we left the show, so we found a place and we got a bunch of like really fancy cookies and went back to the hotel room. So we're eating cookies and just having the best time. So we'd had a couple of so throughout the night, but neither of us were by any means drunk. And so yeah, we get back to the room, hang out there, watching a movie, and end up going to sleep. Now, since we don't have the responsibility of having kids to get out of bed and feed and everything, we both slept in. So yeah, Annette wakes me up.
Sleeping in for you guys now.
Oh God, I mean, it would have been this morning, like 8:30,
right?
8 o'clock probably.
Feels different though, doesn't it?
It's amazing
when you're used to. I mean, for obviously not directly saying work, but when you're used to even your weekends being
it's
whatever, 6:30, 7 o'clock,
7 o'clock, yeah,
8:30,
yeah. Actually, it might have been closer to 9.
When I hit 9, though, that's the switch for me. When I hit 9, I feel like a lazy piece of garbage.
Yeah, I've done, and that's the thing. So I woke up kind of in a panic when she said, "Hey, are you doing the podcast today?" And I was like, "Oh crap! Oh no!" So in my mind, even though I know it's only 9 o'clock, I'm thinking Kyle's probably banging on the front door, like,
right?
Hey, where are you?
Even
guys?
though we don't start until usually 10:30, unless
Exactly.
we're doing something special or different, right?
So I fire a text over to you real quick. I was like, "Oh no!" Like again, I have just woken up.
Yeah.
So I am my brain is not working right. It's only 9 o'clock. Typically, we don't record until 10:30.
Yes.
So I got an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So I send you this text. I'm like, "Oh, can you record this afternoon or tonight?"
Yeah.
Or, and then after I sent it, I was like, "Actually, I'll probably be home."
Well, yeah, but in my head, you were thinking, "Hey, race, wander. I don't know why you'd want to, but whatever. Like wander around, maybe get a lunch, something like that."
Yeah. So we just ended up doing lunch or breakfast at the hotel.
Gotcha.
And then I was like, "Oh, what do you want to do?" And she's like, "Oh, let's get home. I want to see the kids." And I was like, "Okay." And I was,
Boy, and it's strange. I get that same way.
yeah.
We've talked about flying home, coming home when you're gone for you at work or whatever. To me, it's always a find the earliest way home.
And I love walking in the door and the kids being excited. I put a pin in that. I'll tell you exactly what happened when we walked in the door.
Okay.
So yeah, I sent you that text and I was like, "Oh, actually, false alarm. Never mind. We'll be home by like 10:30.
Yeah. So comedy show.
Oh yeah.
You're not like a weekly or monthly goer of, hey, I'm going to go see the hot up and comer, whatever.
No.
So you were excited to see this. Did it all land with you? Did you feel yourself kind of maybe not age out of some of the material, but maybe
it was,
like not connect with you like you thought it would?
No, this was great. It was somebody who maybe a year and a half ago, they just started popping up in my Instagram feed.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Man, that guy's funny." And it was like really, really good curated clips. And I remember thinking like, I've never heard of this guy, but whoever's doing his social media, if it's him or, if he's got a team or something, they're doing a great job because they're pulling like
the best stuff.
Pulling really funny stuff.
Okay.
So I start seeing him. So I started following him. And at some point he announced that he was going to be here.
Got it.
I saw the post go up. I was like, "Oh, we got to go to this." Well, I go into work the next day, and my boss is like, "Hey, we're giving away tickets to this comedian. You guys can give them away on the show." And I was like, "Holy crap! I want to go see." He's like, "Yeah, we got extra tickets, so I'll put you down for a pair." Awesome. This is great.
So better news, you didn't have to pay.
Didn't even have to pay.
Beautiful.
So we go to the show, and it was like Annette had never heard of this guy, which is not that surprising. A year ago, I had never heard of him either.
Right.
And I just kept saying to her, I was like, "Just wait. His crowd work is really funny." She's like, "Oh, what do you mean by crowd work?" I was like, it's like, "Hey, anyone here celebrating a birthday?" And then
oh man,
to me, crowd work is one of the most impressive things.
I know,
because they take such mundane answers like, "Hey, what do you do?" "I work in mortgages," and they're able to in a split second, formulate something that has people just dying.
Yeah.
So at one point I look over, he's doing some crowd work, and I look over, and Annette is just like, she's like crying. She's laughing so hard.
So the crowd work's landing.
And I just said to her, I was like, you see? She's like, you were so right. Like, we're dying. We had a great time.
I mean, I'm assuming most people understand, but if you're not familiar with crowd, like Don Rickles was probably the most notorious crowd work comedian.
Yeah.
One of my favorites that I've only seen a few times. I was introduced through the side gig years ago. Crowd work is Jimmy Pardo.
Jimmy Pardo, yeah.
Like, they're not a very common or massive touring breed of comedian anymore.
Yeah.
Because I think crowd work at a 1,500 seat venue or a 10,000 seat arena is impossible.
Yeah.
So you need a curated act with bit A to bit B to bit C and move your way along. But in these smaller venues, they still exist. But you're telling me pulled it off
great.
In this mid-sized venue.
Pulled it off so well. Man, we had just a blast. It was a lot of fun. I want to go to more comedy shows, because every time I go to one, I'm like, God, why don't I go to more comedy shows? I have so much fun at these.
They're a great time, aren't they?
Even the opener was great.
Really?
Yeah, the opener was fantastic.
Man. Now, did you lose the voice? Or did you have the voice struggles? Was that from, laughing so hard?
No.
Was it were you screaming back at the comedian?
No. This
wasn't call and response then?
He's one of those comedians where if you yell out something stupid, he's going to make sure that you know that you're really stupid.
Okay.
And that, this is not a two-way street.
Right,
here.
right.
Unless he specifically is asking you
to talk.
He doesn't want to hear from you. And I get that. So there was one point where he was like, oh, anybody, I forget what he said. Like, anybody out there, blah, blah, blah. And you heard some guy in the upstairs yell back. And so they had like a real quick, like, oh, tell me more about it. Oh, okay, that's crazy, blah, blah, blah. And I forget what it was, but it got a pretty big laugh. And then the laugh kind of calms down a bit. And you hear the guy upstairs saying, and another thing is that she did this. And so the comedian's like, yeah, way to really go out with the big laugh. Nice job. Good job reading the room. And dude, the guy he wasn't understanding, when you don't understand, like, now I'm getting made fun of. Now the guy that used to be having the conversation, now he's mad at me. Now he's turned on me. Like, even Annette, she's like, oh my God, shut up.
Honestly, it's this weird idea that you think you are going to ingratiate yourself into the act, right? Maybe he's got a bit about me.
Yeah.
No, man, he's never met you. You did your part.
Yeah.
You did it competently.
Yeah.
Right?
If you had stopped after, like, the second thing you said, you leave there a hero.
But it's the idea that people think they're funnier than they are always, right? And it's... Boy, I think everybody knows those people where their entire relationship, friendship, whatever, is based on these inside jokes. And I think I'm being generous by saying that they find hilarious. But in a million years, they wouldn't translate to a crowd.
No.
And they wouldn't translate to 99.5% of the population anyway.
Nope.
But those are the people saying, God, we need to start a podcast. Right?
Yeah.
And they think They think, we're so funny to each other. Like, remember that time I said your shoes were ugly?
That's the name of our podcast. Ugly Shoes.
That's that guy in the upper section yelling at this, nationally touring comedian thinking he's funnier than that. I don't know. It's people aren't there to hear you, obviously. I'm not saying anything new, but yeah.
No, but yeah, if you have the chance, go see Stavros Halkias.
Oh, it was him. Okay.
Very, very funny.
I recognize the name just because he has been on the only radio show I consume, the only podcast, which is Dan Le Batard's show. He's been on there quite often. He's known, I think he has a couple of characters about Baltimore.
Yeah, he's a diehard Ravens fan.
Very nice. Yeah, he's very funny on the podcast. I would.
He's just one of those guys that is like, doesn't matter what he says, he's funny in his bones.
So is this where you're about to reveal that you lost your voice because you were the guy screaming back at Stavros?
I was the guy in the upper deck, like, "Here's another thing, man.
You're never going to believe this one.
Did I tell you that I have a friend named Doug?"
Stop me! Stop me! It's me again!
What's up with the name Doug?
Hey, are you going to do this? That's the other worst person
Yeah.
at those shows, right?
Yep. Where they're
Do
just
this!
yelling out names of bits.
Unbelievable.
Let it happen, man. They have a way that they weave it all together.
I have to tell you, though, from an outsider's perspective, me hearing about this 24-hour soiree for you guys, right?
Yeah.
The no kids, non-couples, couples massage,
Mm-hmm.
the comedy show, the hotel downtown.
Yeah.
The only logical solution, and the best thing I could think of, is Annette being fully dressed saying, "Let's go home," while you were kind of planning the lazy day around the big city.
Yeah.
Because she had decided that about 24 hours straight of just Steve and Annette time was enough.
That was
Steve and Annette time.
Yeah, that was enough for her. I hadn't looked at it that way, but Oh, so
Well, listen, years of romance, again, dating back to, if you can go back and listen to it. It was after Steve and Annette got married, and the honeymoon, the recap of the honeymoon with a bra flinging across the room, and Steve goes, "Hey, these genies are real good. They're up in the garage door from 100 meters away, I swear to God."
yeah, that's right. On my honeymoon, I ordered 2 garage door openers and a nose hair trimmer.
And that romance is not dead.
As we're sitting there on the beach, she's like fluttering her eyelashes at me.
Yeah, romance is not dead. Just ask Steve, the garage door wizard.
So to get back to it real quick, so like you had said, when you wake up that next day and you want to get back to get back home, you want to see your son. Yeah. I want to see my kids. So we're driving home. We walk in the door, and my mother-in-law's here. She's been here since yesterday with the kids. Mm-hmm. So we walk in the door, and everybody's kind of like, everyone's excited. Dog runs over, and you hear Evelyn yelling from the living room. And Nikki is... he's standing like right inside the door, right inside the garage door. Mm-hmm. And he sees us walk in, and he starts... I mean, the only thing that I can equate it to is when a dog gets excited and they orbit, where they just start running in circles
because they don't know what that's their body and their emotions. There's no other way for them to show it. Yep. Right.
So Nikki is running from laundry room, kitchen, laundry room, kitchen, and it's adorable. Laundry room, kitchen. So Annette says to him, "Oh, come here, Nikki." He turns around, boom, runs face first right into a wall.
Oh, God.
Right into a wall. And immediately just hits the ground like a freaking ton of bricks.
Again, not Toby, the dog.
Right. Nicholas.
Nikki B,
the human.
The Boolin Wall. Met his match.
Yeah, another wall.
It's the age-old competition, Steve. The irresistible or the unmovable object in the irresistible force. They finally met in the middle, and we found out the winner.
Dude, he hit the ground so hard. He was so bummed.
Oh, they're so dumb.
I know.
They're so dumb. And then obviously he's what, 4 now, 5?
He's a year and a half.
What?
Yeah.
So there's tears involved and everything, and you're doing your best to not...
I'm just laughing at him.
Because at that age, you can still laugh at him. If it was Evelyn that does that, you cannot laugh because you're only making it worse.
Yeah, that is going to be something that Evelyn will talk about to a therapist one day.
That's right. Yeah, and then I smacked the wall, and Daddy was laughing at me, and I found out that it was broken.
Yeah. So that was it. That was our big adult day out.
Beautiful. Hey, I'm proud of you. Proud you're able to do that.
Yeah. Do you want to refresh the email as we wrap this up here?
It is live. The missed connection is live.
Okay.
We now wait
Any replies yet?
0 replies to, again, this forum that hasn't been relevant in 15 years and has been used 4 times in 35 days.
I got a lot of confidence that you're going to find your man. You're going to find your friend.
I wanted to, as we get out of here, I wanted to source out if there's any thoughts on Poll Badness 2024 coming up. If you have any polls that stand out to you, I know Trevor will comment on a lot of them, saying that he thinks this should be a number whatever seed. Any stand out to you, please send those to us. Or you can just comment to us on any of our social media platforms at Steve and Kyle, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Love to see those. That'll be coming up again. The 6th annual?
Something
4th annual Poll Badness tournament.
Yeah.
6th or 7th ever tournament that we've done, as we previously did them based on Steve's throat noise. Maybe we should revisit some of those before the tournament.
All right. Looking forward to that. Again, at Steve and Kyle, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, if there are any that you want to nominate. That's it, right? We done?
That's it.
All right. Talk to you next week. See ya.